Welcome back, guys, to another episode 8 of the Gomu Gomu no Talk podcast. This is a podcast where we talk One Piece, we do chapter reviews, episode reviews, and whatnot every week. I am your host, Lyle. I also go by Boy online. So, what's up? What's up? And welcome to our other co host, Austin. Say what up, Austin.
What up? What up? Welcome back, lads.
Yep, welcome back. And yeah, so before we get into our agenda for today, I just want to say make sure you guys like and subscribe the video, especially if you've been enjoying the content. Make sure you leave a
hmm
comment, whatnot. And also, we uploaded a video recently, a few days
Yes.
ago. We did an epithet tier list where we ranked every single one of the One Piece characters' nicknames.
hmm
And to put them in a big tier list. We spent a lot of time talking about it. I just want to say, if you
Yeah.
want to check that out, go check that out.
That was in the works for a while, and I'm really happy that we kind of pushed it out over the weekend. So definitely check that out
Mm,
if you guys haven't already.
yep, yep. And yeah, so for today's agenda, we didn't
Mhm.
have an episode this week, right? So
Yeah, we
no
had
episode
a
this week.
filler. It was just a recap episode of it was like Chopper and Carrot describing Kuma and Bonnie's, I guess, like their story so far in the show. But yeah, so we didn't get a episode this week.
We're not gonna we're not gonna review no filler
We're not going to
unless it's a good filler,
review
but
the
no
review, you
filler.
know?
You're not gonna review the review. So, but check that out still.
Mm,
Um, we did have a chapter this week though.
yep.
It was pretty decent. We got chapter 1148 titled Ronja.
Yeah.
So first we gotta get through this cover story because we're
I
still we're still in
know.
this cover story,
We can't escape it.
and it looks like we got more to come because
Yeah.
now we gotta. So in this cover story we got Yamato
hmm
getting a straw hat or an Amigasa hat from
Yep.
Otama. He's gonna travel to Kawamatsu.
hmm
So I don't know how many more episodes, how many more
I mean, we're definitely getting at
episodes.
least one
On
or two more, you know. It's probably going to be like her journey to Kawamatsu and then eventually giving him the hat, right? So I'm expecting
hopefully that's
two, but knowing how it's going, it's going to probably be like eight more.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's been a cool little one. I just feel like it is dragged on too much. I say that every week,
I mean,
but
yeah.
is there any like cover story like you would like to see in the future, or
Mhm.
like have an idea what you want to check out,
Yeah, I think
or
I
we're just
think
gonna wait till Oda just cooks?
yeah, I don't know. I think we could even go back and actually like review some old cover arts. I think there's some pretty good ones or like some other cover stories. But yeah,
I do miss
this one is way too long.
I do miss the when I was reading it when I first
hmm
started reading. I do like enjoyed the um the the reader requests, right? When they like
hmm
would draw like certain characters doing certain things. Like I know there's one like crocodile holding the umbrella over the puppy, shit
Yeah.
like that. Like I do want to see that come back.
hmm
So I'm excited for the end of this one. Hopefully the next one's gonna be just as good.
Yeah.
But we can get straight into the chapter.
Yep. So we have chapter 1148 titled Ranja. Ranja being one of the children from Elbath. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I guess where this chapter starts off, or if anything, let's go over to like I guess the last part of the last chapter. It kind of left off on a cliffhanger where we saw Robin and Gavin like it looked like they were about to like jump into action, and like I think they were just kind of tired of just like watching on the sidelines. And
Yep.
then in this chapter,
Um,
yeah.
as to say, like a big part of like what we're starting off this chapter left off from the previous one was they introduced all the hostages,
hmm
which is just the children. They introduced it one by one, and we also like introduced what their plan was, right? Like to pledge allegiance, not to the flag, but pledge allegiance to the world government. But
hmm
I want you guys to do this by burning down the schools, and if you don't do that, we're gonna just
Start
push one
killing,
of the
yeah.
children one by one.
hmm
And I thought it's funny that Ronja was the first one they picked because when I was reading the previous chapter, I thought there was a few of them that stood out, that being Ronja and Johanna.
hmm
Johanna because I thought like it was she had horns or something. Maybe there was some sort of connection to
Oh
like ancient
yeah.
giants or something. But Ronja was like crazy optimistic
hmm
about this whole
She looks
thing,
so
and
happy.
it showed into it in this chapter, and we can get
hmm
more into it when you know. when we get to her little monologue towards the end of this chapter.
Hmm.
But the beginning, even at the beginning, she's just like, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'll be
Yeah.
a
She
okay.
says
I
it's
thought that
like
was
it's
pretty
no
cool.
big deal, you know, like
It's
it'll
no
be
big deal.
fine, no biggie. And like I think it's so funny because like everybody else is like kind of freaking out, but like as
Oh
she's
yeah.
walking off of I guess the arrow, she's like it's fine, like whatever. But as you can see, like as she gets towards the end, she starts you can see the panic kind of set in.
The sweat.
Yeah, she starts
This
like
there's
huffing, she's sweating, she's like I guess she's shivering, you know.
there's those little the kanji or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um the emoji says shiver on it. I thought that was that's pretty funny. Like it's the false confidence, but as like as this is happening, Summers like what we saw in the previous chapter, he's like telling Ja Rule, like,
Mm-hmm. He's still
listen, like
broadcasting to everybody, I believe.
you got 30 seconds to decide. If you don't decide in 30 seconds, or if you don't like, burn down the library or whatever, we're gonna push
Mm-hmm.
one kid at a time.
Yep.
And Ja Rule, everyone is like super conflicted. Like not even just Ja
Mm-hmm.
Rule, like just all the pirates. Like everyone's like saying
Oh
like,
yeah,
we do like we like the
it's pretty
libraries
torn.
has
Yeah,
so much history, but at the same time, it's like we're talking about kids. You know what I mean? It's like you
yeah.
got to
It's
pick one
some of the
between
kids are their kids, you know.
yeah, and it's like yeah, some of the kids are their kids, and it's like it is a pretty fucked up thing to do. But like I feel like personally for me, it's kind of an easy choice to pick the kids, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, this history that's within these libraries is like
Yeah,
thousands and thousands of years
yeah, and
old.
I guess
So
like what went into getting like this history too, you know. I guess like the O'Hara incident, like it would just be a shame to just like burn all of these books, knowing like how like what it took to get these books in the first place.
yeah,
But yeah, they're arguing a lot. It seems like I don't know. I guess like from the panels for me, it kind of looked a bit split. Like when you see all the giants arguing. But dude, one thing that
even
really
there,
stood
man.
out to me was the one guy. He was like, "Is there anyone around to stop these games?" It kind of reminded me of Squid Game. I
I
don't know if you
played
got
these
that too.
games
Yeah,
before.
I don't know why.
No,
When
I
I read that,
never.
I just thought of that guy. He's like, "Is there anybody who could stop these?" Because he says, I believe he says these preposterous games
Yeah,
or
you have to
this
stop the.
preposterous game. Yeah, I just couldn't
Yeah,
help but think about like Squid Game, where he's like, "I played these games before."
yeah.
Oh,
Um, yeah. So while a lot of this is going on,
mhm,
we do a little pan to what's going on with the Straw Hats. Chopper and Rob, like Robin's like telling Chopper, like, listen, dude, like you gotta.
mhm.
There's a lot of emotions going through me. I can't hold back. I gotta do something. And she's telling
Yeah,
Chopper to just chill out. And while this is happening too, um, Nami's even saying like, dude, how crazy do you have to be if like
yeah.
you're holding
She's
kids
literally
hostage.
roasting him like as they're all tied up.
Yeah, and I don't know, like she knows who she's dealing with, man, because these guys do not give a fuck. It's
Hmm.
like even like Summers responded like, "Did I ask for your opinion?" Called
Hmm.
them insects. Like I didn't ask for, I don't give a fuck. Who asked? You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Who asked? um, but yeah, no, like the Celestial Dragons do not care, and they'll get it more into it too. Why they chose this too, like later
Hmm.
on. But before we even get to that, like we get a pan to like the what's going on with the giant pirates, the ones who
Hmm.
crashed after seeing their moms.
Yeah.
Was it the rises? But it was we see them. We're probably gonna get to it into like to the next chapter. Since they're split up into one group's gonna save the children, one group's gonna
Hmm.
save the monster, fight the monster. So it's definitely setting up. At least I think it's setting up to like a big brawl going on between those guys and the. It's gonna be the Operation Save the Kids, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, so it's setting up to be like that's what it's gonna be. I
Hmm.
can't wait to see that in action. But
Oh
yeah, we do
yeah.
get a little bit of a tidbit from them.
Mm,
But
yeah.
after that, we see Robin on the fucking move,
Oh yeah.
actually fighting.
Hmm. No, and even before she like I guess right before she fights, it's I actually thought the I guess the monologue that Saint Summers is having is really good. He kind of lets them know that they only have, I believe he says like 10 seconds or something, to make this decision. And like with this decision, he said like if you choose to burn the schools, the school and the library, like you are forbidden from removing a single book from them. And
Mhm.
he notes that like obviously like it's not only that they're just burning like a school, the library, but he's trying to get rid of the culture and their history.
Trying to
And I
get rid
think
of what makes
yeah,
Elbaf Elbaf.
exactly. And then at that point, I think Robin's like, I so someone's got to
Yes.
put a stop to this, and she just throws hands, so literally.
Yeah. It's like to add on to what you're saying, it's like it's the whole aspect of like complete like you had to bend the knee
Hmm.
to us and because we don't want we don't care like I'm just saying the perspective of the world government the perspective of the holy knights we
Hmm.
don't care about what makes you guys like individuals we all we care about is your strength and that's
Hmm.
it
Yep.
so whatever will keep you I guess to them they're like saying like it not only is it like a domination thing but it's like to them it might think like like this might keep them from fulfilling their potential as just being just a government pawn
Hmm.
if they still hold on to this history of the past and these things that doesn't like that distracts them from just being mindless warriors it'll
Yeah.
like get in the way of what they actually want them to do
Hmm.
and it's fucked
I
up man
completely agree.
it's some crazy shit going on it's some crazy shit going on
Hmm.
Summers is on some shit
Yeah.
and yeah, like right after that, like as he's saying all this shit, Robin comes out of nowhere. Hidden, what I can't even say that. Seeing Fleur's
Yeah,
Classpedia.
I can never understand what it is, but no, she's throwing hands for sure. And then even Jinbei's just like, yo, be careful. Like like he can kind of tell like they're a very formidable foe. And
Mhm,
Robin's very smart, so even she says like she's aware. And she does her I guess like the signature clutch in which she kind of like snaps his neck, and it was very pleasing to see actually. And
yeah.
let me see. I think right after that, they can see that he also regenerates. I think he just like grabs his head and like snaps it back into place.
Mhm,
Um, and they can tell that obviously he's also immortal, and that right now it seems like nobody can beat them. Like there's really nothing that they can do to defeat them.
mhm.
I think Usopp calls him a
And
zombie.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a zombie too. And like it's like and Robin has this sick idea. It's like you can't really beat
Hmm.
him. I can only
Yeah.
put him out of range. And like, it's like what you said, Robin's a very smart woman. Summers agrees as well. He says like you're a clever woman because he knows that like they really can't do shit, I guess, just by like they can't defeat him. They said they can only contain him, right? Like
Hmm.
if you get him out of the range of the kids,
Yep.
you can save them, right?
Yeah.
Basically. But you know, you can't it's not that easy because right
Yeah.
after they
She tackles
she
him.
pushed him off she tackles him with her clone
Hmm.
he just gets out of it uses his thorns and like penetrates his clone and uses his thorns again to attach himself to the tree so that was
Yeah.
kind of pointless I'm not gonna lie it
Yeah,
was
it
cool
was a
though
good idea. No, I mean that was the
it was a
only
good
play that
idea
they had, to be honest. This guy's literally immortal. But I also
yeah
love the way he looks when he like attaches. It looks like he's attached like from his belt, the thorn. He's just like T posing in the air, just like hanging
It's-
in there, just like chilling. Um,
yeah
and I believe he's still speaking to all of Elbath, and he makes it a point that he's like Ja Rule, like you have to make a decision now. Um,
and yeah, as he's hanging on to like the tree, he tells what's her face?
I think
What's her name again?
Gunko.
Gunko, sorry.
Hmm.
Gunko, like, all right, I want them to know like what's really at stake. So we put
Hmm.
the mic on the chicks on the
Yeah,
chick
Mike the
on
kids up. Yeah.
mic the kids up.
Hmm.
And I did what she says. Oh my god, I can't wait to get
Yeah.
to see this get animated because I know it's about to hit hard with the voice
Hmm.
acting.
Oh
She's
yeah,
like,
100%.
she's like, I love the school. It's where all my friends are. You know, I love the library. It tells me
Hmm.
everything. The teachers teach me stuff.
Yeah.
And she says, like, I don't want to be. She's like, I don't want the school to get burned down because everybody will get upset, and I don't want to be that the reason why. Like,
Yeah.
just throw me off. I'm okay. I'm a lucky
Hmm.
girl. I bet everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
she's
that
sitting there, she just
scene.
crying. Her that shit fucked me up, bro.
Well, it's so interesting because before she says like I'm a lucky girl, I bet everything will turn fine. Like when she's doing this speech, she looks so confident, like almost like happy, very optimistic because she's like very optimistic, but then she just breaks, like she's like bawling her eyes out, like her nose is runny, and I just like how fast Ja Rule just completely folds. He's like, dude, set it all on fire, like burn everything down, after she
Dude,
does this big
I,
speech of like, dude, let me go, he's just like, yo, burn everything. She tells, I think,
dude,
the librarian.
I think that that little panel of him saying of Summers saying two is so troll, man. It's
Oh
just so
yeah,
funny to me.
he's like
He's such
cheesing.
a goon. He just fucking around at this point. He
Hmm.
don't give a fuck
Yeah, you can
about
see
this
how much
shit.
like he's kind of like enjoying it, like enjoying
Yeah.
watching them, I guess, suffer. So it's definitely an interesting scene. But
Um,
I believe he tells the librarian, Angie, to
Angie,
just burn everything
Angie.
down, and she's like, "Yes, sir." And even Robin's like crying, And obviously Summers is back, and he restrains Robin with the thorn fruit, and you could just see him. He's winding up, dude. He looks like he's about to hit a home run right
He
now.
is goofy as hell, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's a goofy ass swing. He's like winding up. He's about to play
It,
baseball.
it almost looks like the like baseball pitch where he like raises his leg too. He's like
Yeah.
he's about to swing, yeah. And then as he's about to swing, like you can see it's like something or someone just like appears, And the next thing we see is
Mhm.
that his arm it just gets sliced off. I believe it's his left arm. And he seems very shocked, and I think it's him. I don't know if it's him or if it's the crew mentioning that his arm is not regenerating. And that's like a pretty big
Yeah.
deal at this point because these people are functionally immortal. So,
I think the arrow points towards him, so I think it is him.
mhm.
And this is before he realized it's like, oh shit, it's Gabon.
Yeah,
And then he's like, looks at it, and then he's gonna Gabon hits him with it's been a while. Like he's
I
over
know.
farming like
Well,
crazy. He's over
so
farming like crazy right now.
oh yeah, he is
And
oil
it's just
farming. That's actually something I wanted to talk about. Was when Gavin said I believe he said it's been a while, in which I was actually kind of confused, and I was wondering like what your take was on this. Like, was this implying that they've met before, or that it's been a while since he's been like cut and like not regenerating like that?
I think it implies the first thought I had in my head was that they've seen each other before.
Hmm.
Because like, like he even like see like I get the Roger Pirates were like super popular back in the day. So
Yeah,
he
they
must
they
he
had
might just he
some
might just he might just
clout.
know him based off he might just know him based off like, bounties and stuff.
Hmm.
But the way he sounded like stop Brick-a-Ban, like the way like,
Yeah, he knew his name.
like his face is like it's just like, oh shit, like I've seen this motherfucker before. So I wonder
Mhm.
like where could they have possibly met?
Maybe God
I maybe
Valley.
in God maybe God Valley because
Yeah,
Summer
that's
yeah
what I was
Summers
thinking.
looks like
He
Summers
looks
looks like an
pretty
older
old.
fellow.
Yeah, I mean, he
So
looks just
they
as
might
old as Gavin. To be honest, they kind of
yeah,
have like
so
the
they might
beard
have
going
met
on. Hmm.
they might have met in the past.
Okay, yeah, because that's
And,
the
and
way
like,
I took it as well. Is that they've met before, and I didn't know if that was a
yeah.
stretch or not. But yeah, that's the way like I interpreted it. And dude, the way Gavin just aura forms Summers, dude, he cuts him. Dude, the way he cuts him is like the way Mihawk cut Zoro, like on the across the chest,
Yeah.
and you can
It
just see
is
like
crazy.
him falling backwards as Gavin's just completely behind him at this point. And dude, this guy looks so serious. The chapter ends with just his face.
Hey, yeah, like he's doing some real damage
Yeah.
to the Nazis. And at this point in the story, like we never really saw even like when like Luffy was going against what's his face Saturn, right,
Mm-hmm.
and going to against the other people that have the similar powers. It's like we never seen these guys in this much peril, like
Oh
in terms of
yeah.
like, oh shit, I can't regenerate. So like
Yeah,
I was
especially
like
on
thinking, I want to
Elbaf,
get
like they haven't been touched at all, pretty much. You know, like.
I want to get your thoughts on this. Is like, so like people have been saying that like Elbaf would be like a training arc before the
Mm-hmm.
final war, and
Yeah.
like would this be like a way for like maybe this is some sort of like new type of hockey that like
Mm-hmm.
uh that Luffy can train in that could counter like the Holy Knight's powers, and maybe like Gabon's gonna like teach him something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that'd
No.
be I think that's something that we might be headed towards.
No, I saw
Or
that theory as well, in which at the time I wasn't really sure because that was like really early. That was like, I think the first time I saw that was their first encounter with Gavin, you know, in which I wasn't really
yeah.
too sure. But after seeing this, like, obviously this guy has something that the rest don't. You know, he's the only one that's done any damage to the Holy Knights, and obviously, like, I mean, it seems like the entire crew is just completely useless at this point. So like something needs to be done, you know, like and yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you too. Is like, is this an advanced form of hockey, or like what really is this?
Has
You know,
has to be.
I was just thinking it's probably an advanced form of hockey, in which I do think like they're gonna have to train or do something. You know, maybe Usopp's got to get a new weapon.
Mhm. Yeah, like everything like hockey is supposed to be just a counter everything at this point.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like I I can't imagine that being just the way to defeat these guys is some sort of strong hockey.
Hmm.
Because like Joy Boy, okay, so when they were fighting Joy Boy way back in the during Boy Century, it's
Yeah.
like they were afraid of him, right? Like he had to have something like he must have known to be able to like put a threat towards these like seemingly immortal creatures who could just they like
Hmm.
regenerate themselves like it's nothing.
No, and I'm
And
pretty
I
sure
assume
it
Emu has the
seemed like
same thing.
it seemed like that was also hockey, especially when like do you remember when the giant like he like tied that knot, and then like they released the knot, and then like it was just kind of like hockey, and it even brought
Yeah,
like Emu down to his or her knees, you know. Like I
yeah.
do think hockey at the end of the day is gonna be, you know, what really counters whatever is going on in these like what seems like immortal beings. So
Mhm.
I can definitely see them
And
doing a training arc.
yeah. Will there be a time skip though?
Mm.
Will there be a time skip? Because people keep saying like it's always parallels, but I don't think there'll be another time skip. But
Like
we'll
how
see.
long of a time skip are we like are people thinking? I don't really follow the theories too much, you know. Like like are they doing like a 3 month time skip like training arc, or are they thinking like years, you know, like 2 years?
Some people were saying years because they're
Really?
like, if you really do think about it, right? Like Luffy's been only been on the seas for like 2.5 years, which
Yeah.
is a crazy thing to think about because the motherfucker is the amount of like shit he has done in
In
that
those
like
two
two and a half
years,
year
yeah.
time is insane, right? And you're
Hmm.
trying to tell me that he's supposed to be going up against not just Blackbeard, like we're talking about Emu,
Hmm.
Akainu, all those guys.
Yeah.
Like we find out that Luffy, like the Kizaru, was kind of holding back
Hmm.
at Egghead, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm not saying that like Luffy was watching him, but like what could have like Kizaru actually trying do to Luffy still? What
Hmm.
could like Akainu? What could I guess like he probably get like Gribu will probably get washed by Luffy, but like what could these guys actually do? Like
Hmm.
at full power, and like is Luffy even ready yet? Like, does he need to go through another time skip, or
Hmm.
he's just training with Gabon? But like,
I could definitely
what are
see
the
that.
final things that Gabon could be like teaching him? You know?
Yeah, I could definitely see that, especially since like I feel like as of right now, like when it comes to Luffy, like in his Gear 5 form, it seems very limited. You know, like he gasses out after a certain amount of time or like a certain amount of attacks, in which even when he gasses out, it seems like he's almost functionally useless for like what seems to be a time period. And
Mhm.
I mean, if he's going up against, you know, these big names like Ibu, you know, all these like pretty much the entire world. It seems like he will need to be stronger than where he is currently. But yeah, I guess that's just we'll see in the future. But what would you give
You know?
this chapter rating wise? 1 through 10.
I think a 7 or 6.5 or 7.
Okay.
I thought it was all right.
Mhm.
It kind of just continued off the previous chapter.
Mhm.
We did see Gaman in action. I did
Yeah.
like that. I did enjoy that, but I wish I saw more of that. Um, I thought it was, it's a decent chapter. I'd say 6.5.
Mhm.
What what I do want to see more in the next chapter, and we say this a lot. I want to know what's going on with Loki, and I also
Yeah.
want to, because we haven't seen him in a few chapters, right? Like, and I also want to see more of the Kaban fight. And
Mhm.
we'll definitely get that next chapter, I think.
Mhm. No, that's a good take. Let's
What about you?
see. I think I gave this chapter a 7 out of 10. I agree. The first half was just a very much a continuation. Like we already knew what was going on, like this decision that Jaru has to make and like um you know whether to burn down the school and the library or not, or like the children. Like we got all of that information from the last few chapters, I believe, the last two. And so I thought again a lot of it was just continuation off of the last chapter, but I did enjoy seeing Nico Robin fight Summers as well as obviously Gavin
Giaban.
Gabon
Giaban.
like going into action just aura forming Summers. So I felt like that for me really saved the chapter was this end because I mean even in our previous episodes I feel like we every single time we've mentioned at the end was like dude we just want to see this guy fight, like they're teasing him way too hard, and they showed like what seemed to be like like a very small percentage of his power, but and he seems very powerful. He's the only one that has functionally done any damage to the Holy Knight so far. So I thought that was really nice to see. But I
So
agree. I just want to see Loki backstory, dude. And at this point, I don't think we're gonna see it for a while. I feel like we're probably not gonna see Loki for a few chapters, and that they're probably just
yeah,
gonna have to deal with this situation as he's healing.
I I want to say this is like Summers is becoming one of my favorite characters. Like like low key,
He's
like I think
actually a
his
really good
powers.
character.
He's really funny
Hmm.
and he's really fucking goofy, which I think is like even like during the whole like altercation with him and Robin, right? It's like
Hmm.
he was like, "Do you love me? Like, why
Yeah,
are you hugging me?" Like it's just
yeah,
like this, and then there's in the hole when he was counting down like two, like he had that like gleeful
yeah.
ass look in his face.
Hmm.
Like the dude is a fucking, I wouldn't say goon, but he's an idiot, and
Hmm.
he's really funny. I He's become one of my favorite characters, at least in this arc. Like
Hmm.
probably like my favorite like character they've introduced so far.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was pretty sick. Uh, to add on to what you said, like yeah, dude, they've been hyping up Gabon for so long, and it's crazy. They're actually starting to, it's finally starting to show real action, not just like some fake shit. Um,
Hmm.
Very excited for the next chapter, which sadly we have to wait 2 weeks on.
Do we?
Womp
Oh,
womp
okay.
womp. Yeah, there's a break next week. There is a break next week.
At least we get the another anime episode
Yes,
this
sir.
coming
Yes, sir.
weekend. So that's good that like we're kind of it's like one or the other.
Yep.
But
But yeah,
mhm,
uh, I
I
guess
guess
we
that was
go
the
on
chapter.
to our. Yeah, I guess we go into the next one. Damn, we didn't even. I didn't even say this in the intro. I don't think I did said this in the intro. We did our little what's it called? Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Agenda.
Hmm.
We were this next thing we're doing. We're gonna do a One Piece worst character, worst pirate draft,
Yes.
where we let me I can explain. We're basically have some seven, I think it's 6 or 7 subcategories. We're gonna do a serpentine draft.
Hmm.
Um, so like previously how we did our crew draft. So I'll pick one, then Austin will pick two, then I
Hmm.
pick two. We
Yes.
go on. We're gonna pick the worst possible qualities we could have to a pirate. It could be pirate captain, whatever.
Hmm.
In my head, I wanted to choose the worst possible pirate captain.
Yes.
Um, we're gonna do a few rules. we can't pick duplicates. So let's use Mihawk for example. I can't just say I want Mihawk's weapon. Then Austin says, oh, okay, I want his clothes, his
Mm-hmm.
personality. We can't no duplicates.
Yes.
Um, I guess that was like the only like legit rule we've had.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah,
No.
and to introduce our categories, you want to just talk
Yes.
about it?
And I guess before we even introduce our categories, like this will be very similar. I think it was our second episode of the podcast. We did a crew draft. It's gonna follow the exact same format. But if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I feel like that was a banger. That was actually a really fun time to do.
Yeah,
But
let's go.
so the categories that we have are first devil fruit, then we got IQ, durability, strength, personality, drip, and then weapon. I feel
Mm,
like that those are pretty good subjects. And again, we're just trying to,
mm.
I guess, like amalgamate the worst pirate, and these are the characteristics that we're kind of combining to make this. So, do you want to flip a coin for who goes first?
All right, fuck it. That's it.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
You
Okay,
got it?
you just got to trust me. You just got to trust me.
Yeah,
Okay, I
I'll
don't have a
trust you.
coin
I'll
on
trust
me,
you.
but I googled coin flip. All right, what do you want? Heads or tails?
I'll take tails.
All right, it's tails. Do you want to go first or no?
I'll let you go first.
All right, okay, I go first. All right. So for my first overall pick, we just had
Mm-hmm.
like from all of my sports watches, the NBA draft lottery yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm in my draft mode right now.
Mm-hmm.
So with the first overall pick of, so the first pick of the worst pirate draft, I'm gonna pick IQ, and I'm
Okay.
gonna go with Weevil,
Weevil.
Edward Weevil,
Okay.
because that motherfucker is dumber than a bag of rocks, and it's like he can't do anything unless his mom is telling him to do so, and he's so easily persuaded by his mom. You can
Mm-hmm.
convince him anything,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, battle IQ, dude's probably he. I don't know if he's like smart battle IQ
I
wise.
think it's just
He might just be
OP.
so. I think he might just be so strong. It doesn't matter if he's
Yeah.
smart or not. But
Mm.
IQ wise, nah, he's dumb as hell. So I pick Weevil first.
Okay. Oh, that's a good pick. Ooh, okay. Um, and then I guess it's me, right? And I get two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess to bounce off yours, I'm gonna go IQ two, and I'm going Wapol. I feel like I've never seen this guy make a good decision in his life. I'm
No,
I'm
but
gonna be
wait,
honest.
but he
Besides, let me
go,
think. Recently at Barrigeois, where he ran away, but
he made his toy company.
oh,
He's
that is
rich.
true. That is
He's
true.
rich.
But I don't think he's happy though. I don't know why. I feel like this guy is just not the smartest when it comes to making decisions. So I went
Yeah,
Walpole for IQ.
no
And
problem.
ooh, okay. I guess for my second pick, I'm just gonna go drip. And you already
No problem.
know, I gotta go with my boy, Senior Pink.
Oh
Yeah,
no, you're gonna get a lot
this
of hate. You're gonna get a lot of
this
hate.
I love Senior Pink, but that's why I had to choose him. He has drip. This is drip, but it also could be seen as not drip at the same time. So it's like it's really confusing. But
All right.
he's got the shirt that says "Let's Baby." I don't
That's
even know
pretty
what that
fire.
means. So for
That's
drip,
fire.
I
That's
went
fire.
Senior Pink.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm gonna go from there. I'm gonna pick my personality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna pick Spandom.
Oh my god.
Dude is just a dickhead, and he's so egotistical. It actually kind
Mm-hmm.
of messes up because that's who I was gonna pick strength, but I think personality is a better action for that. Yes, fuck Spandam. He's dumb as he makes wrong decisions a lot too, and he
Yeah.
kind of just got into his power because who his daddy was, right?
Yeah.
And
No,
no one likes
100%.
him.
He power trips
He
hard.
This is not someone I would want to follow as a pirate. So
Mm-hmm.
Spandam is my personality, And for my devil fruit, uh, this might be controversial,
Okay.
okay? But I picked the Kinemon's fruit, the Garb fruit,
Okay.
because if I were to, so the way I thought about this, right, is if I'm
Uh,
picking the worst pirate ever, so that means Weevil IQ. This guy does not know what drip is, so the Garb fruit is completely useless.
yeah.
So if a motherfucker like me got the Garb fruit, I'll be
Mhm.
swagged out like crazy. Like what the hell does Weevil
Yeah.
know about swag? So so in my
Okay.
head, I'm just like, okay, all right, yeah. So
Hmm.
that's why I picked Garb fruit as my devil fruit.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. Um. Okay. Um. Damn. What am I? Okay. I think for my next pick, I'm gonna go weapon, and I'm going with Captain Morgan's axe arm.
Yes, you didn't pick the one
Yeah.
I picked.
Really?
Thank God.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like having an axe instead of an arm or a hand is basically just a disability at this point. It,
No problem.
he keeps it like he's always got a weapon on hand, but like, dude, I just don't think it would be convenient.
Okay.
In a lot of aspects of life, I think that it would just be kind of a disability to have.
Okay. So what's the
Um,
next pick?
and then my next pick. Oh, okay. Um, okay. I'm gonna go personality, and you already took Spandom, which was a really good pick. So I gotta go with my second pick. I'm going Caesar Clown. I mean, this guy is basically just a sociopath, I think. He's
But he's
also
funny
an
though.
he I was gonna say I could see how some people think he's funny, but I think he's so annoying.
Okay.
Which I think that he would be like insufferable as a pirate.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. All right.
Yes.
So for my next pick, for weapon, you gotta hear me out.
Okay.
I chose Django's chakra,
Django's
and
chakram.
and I might be
Uh.
cheating. Like the little things he has to hypnotize people. I
Oh
know his,
yeah.
I know his hypnosis power has nothing to do with those chakra. He uses it. He has his own hypnosis power. Right. I'm in my head. All right. I mean, this is
Okay.
this like
I'll allow it. I'll
I
allow
have,
it.
you know what I'm
I'll allow
saying?
this, but you got to give me
And
some leeway for the next one.
okay,
Okay.
that's fine. What I'm saying is like that power is would actually be super OP if it was someone that's super smart. And
Hmm.
Django himself is dumb as hell. So it's
Yes.
like, and he would fool himself with his own power,
Uh
which is
huh.
like is very fun. Like, and Weevil would, IQ of Weevil, personality span, he would not know what to do with using the hypnosis thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
He would probably get
I think,
hypnotized himself. You know, like
I mean, he would
like
he would 100% get
you would probably use it and just get hypnotized.
all right. So I got that.
Okay, I like that one actually.
Um,
I didn't think of that one to be honest.
and my next one, swag/drip. I picked
Oh.
Charlos because
Hmm.
Charlos, with all that money, money can't unlame you, right? This because
Yes.
Charlos a celestial dragon.
Hmm.
He got all this money, he got all this drip. He still look lame as hell.
I
It's
agree.
not even just like the clothes. It's just how he looks,
His look, yeah.
the way he portrays it. He has no swag, zero aura. So
Uh,
like you can't even have the celestial dragon tax. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like the dude has no swag. So that's why I picked Charlos as my swag.
okay. No, I think that's a good pick for you. Okay, and then let's see. What do I have? I have durability, strength, and double fruit. Okay, I'm just gonna go with double fruit, and you gotta give me some leeway on this, okay?
All right.
Because when I watched this, I actually thought this was a devil fruit, and it's I don't know if you remember. I actually don't know how to say this guy's name. I think it's like Wanzi. He's one of the agents in CP7, and he's in. I think he's in Water 7. He fights Sanji, and he does Ramen Kempo. He's the guy who does. He has like he fights with ramen.
Oh my god, yeah.
I
The pseudo
Yeah,
ramen. I
yeah,
remember
the
that.
suit of ramen, but then also he does like other he fight his fighting style is literally all around ramen. In which I remember when I watched that, I actually thought that was his devil fruit, but turns out it technically it is not. It's actually just like his fighting style. I don't know how he does it, but so that is what I chose for devil fruit.
Okay. Okay.
And
That's a good
then
one.
okay, I think for durability, this was a tough one. I went with Mr. 3.
Oh, thank God you didn't pick the one I picked.
Okay. Yeah, I was like really trying to go of like get some picks that I don't think you would have picked. But for durability, I went with Mr. 3. I don't know if that was a good pick or not, but I just wanted to
He
throw him
no,
in
he gets
there.
clapped the whole fucking
Yeah.
show. And he gets super carried by his devil fruit.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
besides his devil fruit, like this guy is weak as hell.
clap. Yeah. So okay, so I have strength and durability left.
Yep.
So for my I'm gonna go first with my durability. Uh I pick sugar because
Oh, I also had that one on my list too.
like, dude, she got clapped by Usopp's fucking face attack.
Hmm.
Zero durability. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that's why I picked sugar. And for my strength, originally I had Spandam because I thought it'd be funny, but
Yeah.
oh my god, strength. I'm gonna say Princess Mancherry. Like
Okay.
it's just she. I
Okay.
think it's pretty self-explanatory. Um, yeah, I know she does a lot with her double fruit, but I'm about pure strength, man.
Hmm.
She ain't gonna do shit. So
Okay.
I picked Princess Mancherry.
Okay.
So yeah, so
That's
sugar, Princess Mancherry, my
hmm.
strength durability.
Okay. And then I guess that leaves me with just strength, right?
Yep.
And honestly, I'm really glad you didn't pick what the ones I had. I had two. I'll tell you the second one afterwards. But I'm going with and this kind. I knew you wouldn't have picked this character, but I'm going with Miss Golden Week. And if you don't remember who she was, she's actually the partner of Mister Three, and she's the painter.
The
Yep, she's the
painter.
painter. That little girl. Um, I mean, she's just a painter, you know. Yeah. Like, what else can I say?
Yeah, when I think that when like if I remember correctly, whenever like she was actually into like real competition with like Luffy, he just
Mhm.
ran away.
Yeah, pretty much. So I chose for strength. I went with Miss Golden Week, and
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't have her because honestly, I didn't really have much for this list for strength. I had her, and then for some reason I had Sky Balls.
When I was looking up like characters for for this one,
Mhm.
I think they had like Sky Boss. Like what's his name again? Like
Yeah,
um
I had to look up his character again because I just don't remember much
Gedatsu,
about him.
Gedatsu.
Yep. Hmm.
Gedatsu, yeah, he was dumb as hell. That was like a lot of people's like number one for stupidest characters. He
Really?
would forget everything. He was
Yeah.
so dumb. But it's like it was actually kind of funny. Like he would like forget how to breathe and shit, forget how to blink and stuff. Like
Hmm.
especially like it was actually pretty funny how stupid he was. But
Yeah.
like I don't wanna pick I can't stand Sky Boss.
Oh
But
yeah.
uh uh yeah, so man, there's like a few I also wanted to pick, right? Like
Hmm.
for weapon, I wanted to go with Usopp's slingshot.
Hmm. I also thought about that
I
too.
thought I thought Usopp's slingshot was pretty funny, like pretty times his slingshot.
Hmm.
And then like for strength, I wanted to originally pick Spandam. And for
Yeah.
personality, I was gonna pick Kuro, but that was because
Oh, okay.
Kuro's like ambition of just being a pirate, just like he wanted to throw away to just like take over like a fucking village.
Hmm.
It's like I just feel like damn, this guy has zero ambition. So just that's and he also kills his own crew too. I thought that was
Yeah.
L Man's, all right.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I was gonna pick him too.
Hmm.
I thought from your thing, I thought Wapple was a pretty funny one. I was gonna choose him
Yeah.
as one of my devil fruits.
Really? You know who I actually thought like who I thought for Devil Fruit, but then had to change because I actually thought it was kind of OP was well, one character that didn't make it onto my list that I kind of really wanted was Foxy. I think I probably would have put him under maybe like strength, you know? I feel like he gets carried by his
Probably-
Devil Fruit.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's probably IQ because if he was any smarter, he would be so OP.
Oh yeah. And then I
Also, like,
think also for drip, I wanted to go with Frankie pre time skip. Just Speedo, you
oh,
know, like open Hawaiian shirt, like. But honestly, I feel like that actually might be too nice, you know.
yeah. I thought so. Well, I originally wanted for my Devil Fruit to be my first choice was the jacket fruit. But
Oh,
like
I
I feel
forgot
like
about
in my
that.
head I'm just like dude that's like what everyone thinks of as like the worst Devil Fruit. So I wanted to like try to be different. So I
No,
picked
that was the
Kinnabon. Like
exact same way. That's why I had to go real obscure with the ramen kempo.
yeah, that was
Because
super funny.
I would have been shocked if you actually picked that up. I was kind
Nah,
of
I didn't
scared,
pick that.
but no, I feel like we
I thought I
both came out with a pretty good or I guess a pretty bad pirate.
yeah. I mean, who do you think is worse?
I'm trying to think. It's just hard because like when I read all these names, it's just hard to even imagine what this character looks like. You know?
Um, did imagine, dude. I don't know why. I thought Weevil was just so
Mhm.
funny to me.
I
Like
actually really
he,
like your Weeble pick for IQ. I thought that was really good.
yeah.
I feel like this was almost like you would think this was easy, but with how many characters there are in One Piece, it was actually kind of difficult to think about like I guess these least favorable attributes, you know? You really only really remember like, you know, the strongest characters, the smartest characters, like the coolest devil fruit. So it was actually really hard to dig up, you know, these really obscure ones. But I felt like we both
And
came
it's
out
also
pretty well.
also thought the one thing, the hardest one to look for was the swag and the drip, because like
Really? Mhm.
yeah, there's so many characters and it's like I'm a sucker for this character design. I think they're all
Mhm.
like pretty fucking cool. But like when I think of like the only ones I can think of for swag
Oh,
and drip was like characters that just hate like Charlos or
yeah.
Moria.
Really?
But then
I
like some
also
people will
had
be like
yeah. I had like
some
really
people are like oh I like Moria's like
I guess for mine it was like it's either you see it as really bad drip or really good drip because I also had Mr. Two Bon Clay on there,
yeah.
but
But he's a fan favorite. But
but
he's a
that's the
fan
thing is
favorite
he's a
though.
fan favorite and even I like he's iconic, you know. So I was like, oh, like I don't know, you know, but no, I guess I felt like we both came out pretty well, and you know, I really wonder which one came out. I was gonna say on top, but I guess who's on the bottom this week, you know. I also really wonder what other people would choose too when it comes to some of these attributes. There's definitely a lot of things and a lot of characters that we're missing because there's just so many, and we couldn't really go through every single character on here.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few like categories too that we decided to like leave out. But
Hmm.
like nah, not like hockey or something. But then like I think any sort of hockey would make this person better. So
Yeah.
it was whatever at that
Hmm.
point. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty
This was
cool.
fun.
Uh, um, yeah, but make sure you guys leave behind in the comments like whatever you would pick.
Hmm.
Well, I want to see what your guys' combinations are too.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, you can't just pick all Usopp or something. We can't do that. We can't
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, that's just the end of our video. Yeah, this is a pretty good episode.
Hmm.
Um, had a lot of fun recording this one.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
next week, what to expect for us for next week?
Yep.
We do have an episode coming up this Sunday. Make sure you guys check that out when that comes out, and we're gonna do a review on that one. Since there's no chapter this week, I guess we might do another little activity
Activity.
again.
Yeah. Hmm.
Activity
So
time.
stay posted and
Uh,
also similar to our epithet tier list video, me and Lau were also working on I guess like other side videos that we think would be really fun or really interesting. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you haven't seen the epithet tier list video, make sure to go check that out. That was so much fun to do. And
hey,
also like let
if
us
you
know if you guys have any ideas like if you guys would want to
Yeah.
see us do a certain activities, do certain rankings, or even just topics to discuss. I think that would be really useful for us.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, but also, check out that video, that tier list video. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Uh that's just. Oh yeah. Also, before we sign off, make sure you
Hmm.
guys like, subscribe.
Yep.
That helps us a lot and makes us, lets us know what to keep continuing to and doing. If you guys leave a comment down below. Anything like we previously said, like ideas, stuff like that,
Hmm.
feedback, anything. That's
Yep.
very helpful. Um, yeah. I'll see you guys next week.
Oh, until
Peace.
the next time.